Welcome to Cityline. It is wonderful to be in your home this Thursday morning, November 3rd. It is cold outside. It was 37 degrees when I left my house this morning. I thought, winter is on its way, which reminds me of the Tacoma Sister Cities International Film Festival. They will be with us later on to talk about some cozy, warm ways that you can watch some really amazing movies. Workforce Central will be here. Annika is here to talk about a brand new training that they have that is a paid cohort. So you get paid while you learn, and then it gets even better, but I won't ruin the surprise for you. Safe Streets will be here. Priscilla is back. I asked her to come back before she retired, and she is, and she brought with her the new executive director, so we get to meet her on the comfy couch. And then with me right now is somebody that I don't get to spend enough time with. I got to tell you, I can meet this person and we can start talking, and like in a matter of 20 minutes, I'm wanting to spend like 4 hours with her because all these things bubble up. I'm not the only person who thinks that. Please join me in welcoming Donna Ponapito. You are the president and CEO of the United Way of Pierce County. Welcome back.
Oh, it's good to be here.
It's
good to see you.
Good to see you too. And so far, usually by this time, before COVID, I would have seen you at so many other events. But the events are slow to come back sometimes. Yeah. So I keep waiting to look over and to look at Joe and go, hi, Mr. Ponapito. Let's talk about November 15th. That's the day. Wow, that's not very far away.
It isn't.
That is the Pierce County Poverty Summit. From poverty to possibilities. Give us an idea about the Poverty Summit and what to expect, because it changes every year.
It does change every year, and you know what? This is our 6th year.
No, I remember the first year.
Yes, it's hard to believe that it's 6 years, and so when we started this, it was all about how could we create a large community conversation around talking about issues and barriers and removing those barriers to poverty with this thought of everyone should have opportunities to succeed and to thrive and to not always be in this place of crisis, but move to self-sufficiency. So, this year, the Poverty Summit is going to be focused on how do we reframe the conversation about poverty and Alice.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, we moralize and individualize poverty and wealth. We have them in these two buckets.
We do.
And what that does a lot of times is it creates really harmful narratives about, people that are in poverty.
Yes.
That, they can fix it. That it's their fault.
It's their fault. They're not trying hard enough.
Right, exactly. And so, and that affects policy as well. It affects the types of policies that are out there. And so this year we really want to pause for a moment, because we've spent the last 5 years talking about poverty in terms of affordable housing, in terms of policy change. Last year we focused on how we can all prosper together.
Yes.
And that it shouldn't be about this zero-sum game. And so this year we want to take that notion of prospering together. If we're really going to do that, if we're really going to create this caring culture that's resilient, then we need to stop and think about, how are we talking about poverty?
Thank you.
How are we talking about individuals, and where are the individuals? And we've got to center, our conversations around those individuals that are actually living it.
Thank you. Include them.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
If they're not at the table, what's the point?
Right. And so many times it's obvious with the policies that they're not at the
table.
They're not.
Donna, why is this so important to you? I mean, you sit in a huge organization that has so many great programs. Why this one?
We have a commitment to lifting 15,000 households out of poverty by 2028. And we're focused on that Alice population, that asset limited, income constrained, employed. Those are the folks that are getting up every single day. They're working 2 and 3 jobs. Yeah. They have to, take care of their kids, keep a roof over their head, transportation. So for me and for those of, all of us at United Way, and my board included, who's very much behind this, it's important to get, to get the word out, so that people understand that, there are individuals in our community that are working just as hard. We all want the same things. We all want the same things, and but we don't always see it. And so we want to make the invisible visible. And so that's why this summit has been important, because we bring together so many different aspects of the community. So it's not just nonprofits coming together, but we have city, county government, we have community representatives, business community. It's important, all of those sectors coming together to kind of figure this out.
It's impressive.
And it's not just about talking about, the barriers, but, each summit has been about, what are some of the actions that we can take, personally and in our own organizations, in our own personal lives.
Exactly. And I love that you're focusing on the narrative, because that narrative is the culture of how we define what's acceptable behavior within our communities. So the narrative, when we went through Black Lives Matters with George Floyd, we as an advantaged white people learned a whole new vocabulary. We understood that the narrative that we had been in charge of had to change. And that narrative can be applied to many different areas in our community. You always have the best keynote speakers. I wonder sometimes if you're up at night just kind of surfing through podcasts of all the people that are good. Who is this year's keynote?
So our keynote, I'm so excited. She was on the panel last year.
Okay.
But Dr. Karen Johnson.
Nice.
Affectionately Dr. J, and she is the director of equity for the state of Washington.
Nice.
And I am just thrilled that she will be here. I think she's going into her maybe second year as director of equity, and I think we're going to hear some really encouraging words, inspiring words, words that will help, I think will hopefully help us to all be a little bit more reflective in terms of, how are we, how do we learn to love one another?
Oh.
I mean, it's when
that's
it boils
big.
down to it.
It does.
And if we're going to have this caring environment, and we saw it during the pandemic. That was the beauty. That the pandemic was horrible.
It was.
But in that horror, this community, like all communities across the country, came together. And really created this caring. For one another. So how do we, continue that thread? Because we do, I want everyone to prosper, and we've got to get to a place where if you're going to prosper, it's not going to take something away from me.
There we go. It's not a tit for tat.
Right,
We all share in
exactly.
the same. Let's talk about, there's also the competition, because one year you showed up as the pitch to ditch poverty farmer. I remember this. And it was a great outfit. So are you having that competition this year? And maybe give us an idea of, if people don't know what pitch to ditch is, tell them.
Yes, we're doing it this year again, and this was an idea we came up with because again, if we look at communities know what they need.
That's right.
And this pitch, the whole idea was, all right, let's, at a grassroots level, let's invite individuals, community groups to come together and bring their ideas and submit it for a challenge where we have a group of volunteers that will listen to their pitch and then select a winner. And it's always grounded in, what's happening in their particular community. So we're really excited. I won't give anything away. You have to wait until November 15th.
That's right. That's right. And, I don't want to glaze over the Poverty Summit, because I also want to let people know that you have a really great panel of people who have a lot of time with United Way and have lived this and are currently working to change the narrative in our community.
Yes, every year it's always a little bit of a challenge to choose our panels, and this year we've got someone from business. Melanie Cunningham is going to be on our panel.
Our peace queen.
Yes, exactly. Carlos, who is going to be on our panel. So all of them bring a different perspective. And we're also going to have someone with lived experience, someone who is a participant in the Guaranteed Income Initiative.
Yes.
And so we want them to, I think each of these individuals will be able to share from their perspective how we create this caring community, how we reframe how we talk about poverty, because each of them have, experiences, whether it at the state level, whether it at the health and human service level, or just living the experience.
Exactly. So these last few minutes, what are your final thoughts that you want to leave us with that will perhaps trigger us to change the narrative?
I think one of the things that we want people to walk away with is what is my role? What is our individual roles in creating and reframing this narrative in terms of how we think about individuals that are struggling, individuals that are in poverty, and what can we do? What actions can we take so that we really are a caring and more resilient community where all of us prosper, not just some of us.
That's right. Oh, that is, every single day I think that us in this community, with the issues that we are facing right now with unhoused, crime, poverty, all of that, we have got to start walking that talk more. And when somebody is in need, have things that you can do for that person, or a simple call to 211.
Yes.
And there is, 211 is incredible. It gives you everything you could possibly need. And somebody is there live on the phone to help you. Because if you're looking for programs, or you need help with your utilities, or you need help with food and don't have a computer, 211 will help you find that. So I think that this is a chance for us all to refresh those resources that we have and double down on them. So we've been showing the website underneath that beautiful face, so people can still get tickets.
Yes.
And November 15th, and where's it being held?
At the Hotel Murano.
Nice.
But we are getting close to closing registration.
All right, so get in there and get those tickets.
Absolutely.
Donna, thank you always for making time for us here on Cityline.
Well, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too, love. We're going to play just a little bit of musical chairs, and when we come back in the studio, we will have Safe Streets. We're here to say goodbye to Priscilla and hello to their brand new executive director. We'll be right back.